Well, the rain is introducing some complications into our plans. The rain is only supposed to last today. So what we're planning on doing is delaying our whole plan by one day. We're just going to hole up here. We have the time at the end of it. Rachel isn't going to pick us up until next Monday, so we were going to have to spend the weekend at White Pass, just kind of hanging out. The only complication is food. We didn't really plan on an extra day, but I think we have enough that we can put it together. We might be a little hungry when we get to White Pass, but at least won't be starving. So I think we're just going to hang out in the tent. Unfortunately, we don't have any cards or anything for games, so it's going to be kind of a boring day. But if the weather clears up this evening and tonight, and tomorrow is a nice day, and the rest of the weekend is a nice day, then I think we'll stay a lot drier and a lot more comfortable if we just hang out here, not try to move a wet tent. So that's what we've decided to do. I'm here to get our food sacks out so that we have something to eat during the day and tonight. So this is an update. We have spent the entire day in our tent. We got a weather report earlier today from the Garmin. It indicated that the rain was going to stop at about 1 o'clock, and that apparently was erroneous. The one last night said it wouldn't stop until about 10 o'clock tonight, and that seems to be the correct one. So we've been holed up here in our tent all day long. I went out twice, but every time I go out I bring in water, so we've really tried to keep the in and out to a minimum. We just had dinner. We've dozed some, we've listened to books on tape, podcasts, watched a couple of videos that we had downloaded, but we're really looking forward to moving on tomorrow. The rain is supposed to stop tonight at about 10 or so, and tomorrow is actually supposed to be a fairly nice day, although cold. The high was only supposed to be in
like
43 or something, 45. But we're looking forward to moving on, and we've got 2 days to get into White Pass, but we're taking a third day for me to do some more reconnaissance for Linda. So we need to move to another campsite just 2 miles away, set the tent up again, make her comfortable, and then I'll do that reconnaissance, and then Friday and Saturday will be our hike out days.
Yeah, so we're sticking to the plan of not hiking all the way to Chinook, so that my foot can start healing sooner, so that I'm ready for my pass trip.
Yeah. But we've been warm, we've been dry. Our little tent has done us well, and
yeah, you like the Durston?
Our little tent has done us well, and we're looking forward to a comfortable night. Not sure how much we'll sleep since we've been dozing so much during the day, but we'll see. The rain did stop last night, as the forecast said, so that forecast has been pretty accurate. According to it, we're not supposed to have any more rain, actually for several days, until long after we finish this hike. It's supposed to be sunny, although cold. The high is supposed to be in the low 40s. We have some blue sky above us, which is a hopeful sign that this fog will burn off. And all in all, it's just kind of a very mysterious and eerie and romantic atmosphere with the fog blowing past. But we're anxious to move on. We've been here for 2 nights. Yesterday holed up completely in the tent because we didn't want to go out in the rain. So we're just ready to move on and be done with this place.
So I haven't noticed this before, but some hard workers have picked up all that rock off the trail.
There's a little critter in the trail.
And actually built a wall along the trail. Wow.
I'm off on another reconnaissance mission for Linda. This one's a little longer than the last one, but again, just checking out the trail so that if she has to bring her troop through here with the llamas and everything, she knows what to expect. And that is a huge cairn. I don't know who takes the time to pile those up or how long it's taken to get it that big, but there's one that's not quite as big. Well, with it having rained yesterday, I found the part of that log that didn't have bark on it to be a little slippery. Don't know what it would be like if the weather had been warmer. I'm on the snowgrass trail. Came across this beautiful little waterfall. Fortunately, the trail doesn't cross it.
In this campsite, on a clear day, I would be looking at Adams right there. I believe Mount Adams is right over there, beyond that hill.
We're all packed up, ready to go. We got a beautiful view of Mount Adams in the morning, in the morning sun. We have a 12.5-mile day. Today's the day we go for the knife edge. So it'll be
2,000 feet up and well over 3,000 feet down.
And 12.5 miles. So it'll be a strenuous day. Over in the distance we see Mount St. Helens. See the fog lying in the valley. If we were down in the valley, we'd be under those clouds, but up here it's beautiful sunshine, no fog. Just really a beautiful day for going through the Goat Rocks. As we go higher, the views get better. Mount St. Helens over there, Mount Adams.
Today is going to take longer than it should because I can't stop taking pictures and video. The higher we get, the more beautiful it gets. Like, wow.
We're going to cross a little patch of snow here. Oh, or are we? Maybe we're not going to cross it. Looks like somebody's crossed it. We'll keep working our way higher, walking over this stuff. Linda calls it China plate rock because some of it, when you step on it, sounds like you're breaking China plates. a big cairn here. And again, Mount St. Helens, Mount Adams, the fog lying in the valley. So beautiful.
Getting our first view of Mount Rainier this morning. There she is.
Mount Rainier. We got this little lake in this basin here. We actually have a fairly sizable snowfield to cross here. Weren't reckoning on snow. We didn't bring our micro spikes. But there's a fairly well-worn path, so as long as we stay in that, we should be okay. Well, we didn't like the looks of that snowfield, so we turned around, and far out map had a gray dotted line that went above the snowfield. So we decided to take that, so we went across that slope up there, but it was all very loose, shaly rock. And
but the snow, after it had rained, it then froze, and it was icy and no good steps, very slopey, and we didn't have our spikes.
yeah, so
pretty scary.
we were more comfortable on the rocks, but that's not to say it was comfortable.
No, it got pretty steep.
But we did it. Now we just have to find the trail again. Sure is beautiful up here, but it's a little scary. Down there is the snowfield that we elected not to cross. There are some folks crossing it now. Hope they do okay. They might have spikes. They might have ice axes. I don't know. We had neither. And we just really weren't comfortable with the run out.
Facing that way. Oh, the wind's coming this way.
Yeah.
So wouldn't that be blocking the wind?
Yeah, it would help. Now let's go in there. It's been a real climb up here. Two of the people are still on the ice. Taking it very slow, apparently. At this point, they've passed the most scary part, it seems. Maybe not to them, though.
So this is our breakfast spot today, our second breakfast. Sitting up just below Old Snowy, looking at Mount Adams, looking over at St. Helens. Rainier is behind us. Beautiful day. It's not even windy up here, and it can be very windy. The wind's coming from behind us, and we do have a rock that's blocking us, and the sun is on us. I mean, you can't get much better than this. This is glorious. Definitely my happy place.
No. We feel like we're on the top of the world here. This is our little breakfast nook. And I'm feeling some wind on me, but tucked in there, we're really feeling very little wind.
This is $1,000 breakfast spot.
Yeah.
Most most expensive restaurant.
I think this is the most spectacular place I've ever eaten in my entire life. I don't know what could rival it. I guess that's Old Snowy there.
There's Mount Rainier behind the rock that we were eating our second breakfast on. We're about to head down that trail and then across. So, woo, there's the trail and then down the knife edge. Gorgeous.
And then look over the other side here. We've got these snow fields that end in these beautiful little lakes down here. I don't know what causes the red streaks in the snow. All the snow patches here, snow fields have these red streaks. I'm not sure what causes that. And back around to Rainier. This is not the knife edge, even though it feels pretty knife edgy. I mean, we got steep fall away on either side of this 5-foot wide path here. I'm not going to video too much. I'd rather have my full attention on my footing. I'll video more when we get to the knife edge, I'm sure. And that's the little knoll that we were tucked behind for breakfast. I don't see how it can get more spectacular than this.
So we've come off that very steep and loose. We came from the other side of that hump. And then we still have down around there and to get over onto the green, onto the knife edge. We're still not on the knife edge. We're just coming off of Old Snowy. So we have to go down all of those china plates.
This is why Linda calls this china plate rock. Sounds like you're walking on broken china.
So we were on the other side of that hump, and we just made our way down this backbone.
And glad to be on this end of it.
Yeah, it's not easy. We're now on the knife edge. You can see it traveling up there.
Linda says this is the knife edge. After what we just went through, this seems like a bit of an anticlimax.
Oh, Brian. I don't think you should be doing that.
I'll get Linda walking the edge of a knife.
Or knife edge going up there.
Yeah, I don't see that far out, tells us.
Crosses over there. We had breakfast right behind that chimney, on the other side of that chimney. That was a breakfast I will remember forever. So we just came down. There's some people making their way down. Knife edge goes on and on. It looks like we've got another climb over there. Going up there and over.
Continuing on the knife edge. This is one part that feels a little safer. So I get my phone out to do some video. To the right we have this snowfield. To the left we have a fall into a valley. We're now off the knife edge. We've successfully navigated it. Not to say we won't be on knife edges. When you're hiking in the mountains, you sometimes have those. But I guess the official knife edge is behind us. These snowfields up here, there's this waterfall we've been hearing right there, coming off the upper snowfield, feeding the lower snowfield, and they're both feeding this creek where we're going to get some water. So we're getting water as close to the snowfield as you can possibly get it. So it should be cold and refreshing. We've left the goat rocks behind and are closing in on White Pass. We'll get there tomorrow. We had intended to go 12.5 miles today, but the goat rocks around Old Snowy and then the knife edge were so much slower than we expected. So we're going to cut that a couple miles short. Stop at a campground that's about 4.5 miles away at this point. And then we'll have about 10 miles to go into White Pass tomorrow. We got into this campsite last night. We were the 4th party in, but there was still room for us right here. We're going into White Pass today, so this is the last day of our hike. We will still be camping at White Pass. Rachel doesn't pick us up until Monday, and today is Saturday, so we're going to have a day to kill there, and we'll probably be camping somewhere, but we won't be hiking anymore. Been pretty steadily climbing this morning, which in a way is good because we're getting most of our day's climb out of the way in the cool of the morning. So the afternoon will be more going down, I think.
We get to see Rainier this morning. All that climbing was worth it. There she is. Gorgeous.
Got this big hill of rocks. Goes down pretty steeply. And over there is Rainier.
Not want to be here in an earthquake. Need to keep moving. Pretty, isn't it?
Looking down on Shoe Lake. Very pretty little lake. And then if we turn and look Over the other ridge, we still got Rainier hidden by a tree.
What a pretty dog.
Anyway, on the other side of the ridge is Mount Rainier. Chatted with this guy and his dog. They're planning on going all the way to Campo. Probably skipping the national parks down in the Sierras because dogs aren't allowed down there. I don't know how he got through the North Cascades National Park. Maybe he just went on through. But coming up to where we're going to have our second breakfast. We're looking forward to it.
So here's our second breakfast spot. We have another beautiful one. Not quite like the one in Goat Rocks, but it's still very, very pretty. We came up that way, and we will be going down almost 2,300 feet that way. Mount Rainier's peeking her head up above there. You can see our trail. Young beginnings of pine cones. They're kind of purple.
Continuing down from our lunch spot. That's not called a gap or a pass or anything, but it seems like it ought to be. Because we were definitely climbing until we got there, and then we're going down after leaving it, and it takes you from one watershed to another, so it seems like it ought to have a name. But as far as I know, it doesn't. At least it's not on our far out map. But pretty view out over this valley. You can barely see Rainier's top right there. We're about 3.2 miles from Highway 12. Trail has turned into this nice woods. Pretty soon we're going to really go down because we go down over 1,000 feet in the next 3 miles. From the map it looks like it's a bunch of switchbacks. That's where it really starts to descend in a serious way. We're coming out to the parking lot trailhead at White Pass. From here we have 6/10 of a mile to walk down the highway to get to the Cracker Barrel. What a nice little creek. Huh?
I remember we took the llamas over there. Yeah.
The Cracker Barrel is 6/10 of a mile down the highway, so we have to walk on the shoulder of the highway, which is probably some of the worst hiking we've done on the entire trip. This Cracker Barrel is not part of the Cracker Barrel chain. This is spelled with a K, and as far as I know, it's just an individual store owned by local people. I think it's probably a pretty big disappointment a lot of times for PCTers. We think there's a Cracker Barrel up here, and then they find out that this isn't a Cracker Barrel like what they're used to. So, but it is what it is. And we've got limited grocery, limited food, but they do have space for hikers to camp and recharge their devices, and I don't know if there's Wi-Fi there or not, but it's 6/10 of a mile down the road. We were just going to camp behind the Cracker Barrel here, but next door is this Village Inn, and it's kind of a condo rental place, and it's kind of spendy, but we let ourselves be tempted into getting a couple nights here instead of camping behind the Cracker Barrel. So we've been able to get showers, and we have comfortable beds to sleep in, and a gravel driveway that has slippery gravel on it. So that's what we're doing until Rachel comes to get us on Monday. She wasn't able to come any earlier, so today's Saturday. She's not going to be here till Monday, so we have tomorrow to kill doing various things, I guess.